All right, so in this lesson, you are going to be following along with me to draw that picture right up there. And you are going to be able to complete this entire thing with just a ruler and a pencil. So, thank you all very much. Hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you follow along with me. And also, this is going to be a 3-day lesson. So, you're going to have plenty of time to get this done. All right, hope you all enjoy the lesson. Hello everyone, welcome back, and what we're going to be doing in this lesson, I'm going to be teaching you how to draw the covered bridge. And what you're going to need for this, we are going to be using a ruler, and we are also going to be using a pencil. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's look at the perspective on this artwork. And what I mean by the perspective, if you have been tuning in to our lessons, we typically have lessons. I try to cover this in all grade levels on perspective. If you have not had that lesson yet, you will eventually, but I'm going to give you a brief rundown on it right now. So let's look at this image right here. In this image, you can see that it's a bridge and you have a lot of straight lines. Your eye is automatically led back to the church in the background. But why is that? The reason for that is because of the vanishing points and perspective. If you were to draw an imaginary line all the way through all these lines, just going straight through the artwork. So right where all these lines, like the lines in the rock and everything else, where they meet, and you were to do that with the bridge as well, going down through here and right there, you would notice something about it. All of these lines eventually meet up at approximately the same point. Minus this down here because this is actually at a slant. You can see the road's kind of going up. But all of these lines end up at one center point. That is the vanishing point. It's the church. These lines all line up to go to the church. So if we were to draw this, it would be a little bit above center, so the church centered up would be right about here. That would be our vanishing point. That is where all of our lines are going to go. We also have the mountain squared off in the background as well. So let's just go ahead, pencil in this mountain right there. Okay, and now we have our basic lines for everything that we need. So let's go ahead and start really defining these lines. So if you remember, we break everything down into basic shapes. We know approximately where the top of the bridge is going to be, and it's going to be right about here. We'll try to match up this angle with the angle that is in that picture. So it looks pretty similar to that. So let's go ahead and draw that down. Now we're going to jump over to the opposite side and we're going to draw about the same angle. So again, look at the reference picture. Let's make sure that we draw that angle about right, which is roughly there. It's not bad. That's pretty good. And now let's draw that little lip going down. So we're going to have a parallel line right here. Just draw a little lip coming down from it because that's where the bridge is going to be. It's going to be about, let's say, a little bit under half an inch. I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to draw the same thing right about here. A little bit under half an inch. And just by eyeballing it, we see that this comes over like this. We know it's a straight line, so let's make it a straight line right about here. Boom, kind of like that. And it comes over and up and boom, like that. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the bridge. So we know that everything's going to go to the vanishing point. So at this point in time, we can just draw our lines going to it. So let's line up our ruler so that the vanishing point is right there. And we're going to line it up to the edge of the roof line. And then we're going to draw that line. Now we don't want to draw it too dark because we want to be able to erase it wherever the bridge ends. And we want to do the same thing with the top of the bridge. So line it up with the vanishing point, line it up with the top, and just lightly draw your line. Now let's work on the side of the bridge. So we know that there's going to be a rock wall in here somewhere. It's going to be, that wall right there. It's going to be in here right around here. And it matches up a little bit below the vanishing, not the vanishing point, the horizon line or the center of the paper. So I'm going to kind of build off of that. Let's not make it any harder for ourselves than it needs to be. Let's just use this line to be. So I see that it has a lip on it. That lip is going to be right about there. And it goes, it looks like almost down all the way to the corner. So I know the edge of it is right here. Now, if we look back at our picture where we drew the lines, let me bring that back up. You'll notice that the line for the bottom of the bridge actually goes underneath of the church. And that's because this is on a slant. It is not a perfectly straight up and down hill. It is on a hill. So we're going to try to make that go right underneath the bridge, just like in the picture. So here's our vanishing point. I'm going to try to make it go kind of like, let's say right about there. So we now know that's the base of our bridge. That's the top of our bridge. That is the lip on the bridge. Okay, so now we know approximately where this is all going to. Now we can use this and completely square everything up. So let's make that like that. And the beautiful thing about having a rock wall, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the imperfections make it look even better. We're going to start this off by squaring off the bridge. Now, if we zoom into the bridge, which I'm going to right here, you can see that the wooden post is not actually angled to the corner. It's just a wooden post, and that's a bit of a siding. So we're going to go ahead and draw that part in right here. So if we eyeball it, we can see that its siding's right about there going down. Let's use our ruler, line this up, and boom, there's our line. Let's jump over, make just a little bit like that. There's our line. So I'm going to clean this line up just a tad so we can see it. There we go. Nice straight line. And then I'm going to corner this and make it connect up to the top. There we have the corner of that bridge. Now let's move over and do the other corner. The other corner looks like it is right about here. So we'll just draw that line going up. You can barely see it. And then that corner comes down. We're going to try to make it at about the same angle. And there we have that. Our bridge is coming together. When we decide where this end of the bridge is, we're going to line up our ruler and we want to make a straight line going down so we can match that. So let's make a straight line going down from the roof line straight down. That's it. Now, for the angle, what you want to do, you want to line up your ruler against that angle, and then you want to just slide it over. That way you keep the same angle as the roof line. And where that line that we just drew meets the roof, we draw that angle, and there we have it. At this point, we can now erase that, and we have ourselves a bridge. Next, we are going to go ahead and draw in some of these stones. These stones, super easy, and they're really cool to do. In fact, all you have to do to make these rocks, you basically come in wherever you want, line up, and try to keep it lined up with your original line up here. Try to keep it lined up with that. But all you have to do is go in and just kind of make little divots like that. All I did with that is I went along the line, I curved up, and then I curved back down and kept going. So I made like a flattened out W, and then I filled in that little gap with a dark spot. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you can do that for big pieces of rock. You can do it for small pieces of rock like this. This is a pretty big piece of a rock, and you can do this for every single rock that you see, or you can just do it for a few. It doesn't matter. It is completely up to you. And like I said, the great thing about this, nobody knows what this bridge is actually supposed to look like. No one's going to care about those rocks in there. You might have a few rocks that are off. You might have an oddball rock just sticking out the side. Who cares? Nobody does, because no one is going to be looking that deep at this. It's just a bunch of rock. Okay, and there is some very quick basic stonework. Is a bunch of lattice work. So it's wood that is just interwoven like that. And you can see it in that picture even. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take our ruler. We're going to go at an angle. We're going to try to match it up with the one in the picture, kind of like that. And then we're just going to go whoop. We're going to move over a little bit and go whoop. And we're going to keep doing that until the inside of it is filled in. Okay, now that we got that, this is the tricky part. It's not really tricky, it's very simple, it just can get a little confusing. So what we're going to do, we're going to go the opposite direction, and we are going to skip every other one. So we're going to start down here, and I'm going to draw a line through the middle one right there, skip one, and then draw a line through the next one. So we make lattice work, just like that. And we are going to continue doing that using the same spacing apart that we did before with the last one. And we're going to make a lattice work on the inside of the bridge. So we have that done. Now we're going to shade this in. So we're going to go in here, and I want you to look at the picture, look at where that's shaded in, and you're going to just pick one of those diamonds that you made, shade it in like that, and then you're going to skip one, shade it in, skip one, shade it in, and you're going to make kind of like a checkered pattern, just like that. Okay, now that we got that done, now we're going to shade the ones in the back. So we're just going to very lightly go over that. And that is going to make all the boards pop and stand out. So just very lightly shade the ones in the back. And that's pretty much the hardest part of this whole drawing. Then go the opposite direction and make a very light shade over all of that. There we have the inside of the bridge. Pretty good, right? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, we are going to draw the bottom of the bridge, which the bridge will probably end right about there. And we're going to line it up kind of with the vanishing point And let's see, we actually probably want it to be a little bit lower than vanishing point, because if we line it up just with the vanishing point, it's going to look like it's a little bit skewed. So we just kind of want to eyeball it where we want the bottom to be and just kind of put it in there like that. There. Now we have a bridge with the bottom on there as well. Now the next thing that we're going to work on is the other side of the bridge, because the other side of the bridge, if we zoom in, you can see it has basically the same kind of working going on that side. So the best thing to do with that is we are just going to draw a triangle, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a triangle, so we are just going to draw a triangle wedge, and it is going right here. It's going to go from here. We're going to look at the reference. It's going to draw down. It's going to draw over, and then it's going to go up. And just like the last one, we're going to make a little lip down here at the bottom. Bring that over, same width as the bridge, and it looks like we can barely see the end of it right about there. And now, since that is made out of rock, we're going to do the same thing that we did here, except we're going to make it very, very tiny rocks, so little details in there. So the road, it will actually come up and kind of circle around and go kind of like that. So that's what we're going to do, kind of curve it around, go woo, like that right there. And it kind of comes up, if we look in the picture, it kind of comes up right there and then circles back around. So right around in here and then kind of like that. Yep, kind of like that right there where it goes shoo, whoa. Then it kind of follows that line back and over here and up this hill, and that's about it. The road itself, we're just going to make it nice little narrow right there, and it curves back down. For the church, very simple, easy to do. It's basically your standard little square with a triangle house, because it's so far away, you don't need to focus on details. So, little square right there, boom, and then you notice I have the vanishing point at the top of the square. The reason for that is because we are going to, boom, put a triangle on top. Boom, like that. Boom, boom, triangle right there. Awesome house. Now we're going to build the little steeple off to the side. And then at the very top, you guessed it, little triangle. Boom, boom, little triangle. And to make it look like a church, very, very easy to make something look like a church. All you have to do, right up where the steeple is, put a cross right up the top and put a cross over here. Boom, it's a church. Everybody knows it as a church now. And we need to put these little windows. So windows curve up, go whoop, like there, and then over here and whoop, and right there. And then we have a door. Door's a box, little square. There we have it. Little steeple right over here. There we go. Now we do see just a little bit of the side of the church, which is like that. So all we have to do, we just draw a little itty bitty line and then a little itty bitty line going down and then connect those. Same thing over here and connect it. That's it. Now what about the fence? Fence, super easy. We are going to go whoop, and we're going to make kind of jagged lines like this. And in between each one of those, we are going to have a fence post. You all heard my massive email go off. That's awesome. Now once you have that, then you go back in and you do it again and go. And if you want to connect it, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine. There you have a fence row. Okay, let's focus on the other big part of this, which is the trees and the greenery. Trees. If you watched my lesson on drawing or painting the tree, which, spoiler, that was one of the outcomes. Woo! But if you've watched that, a tree, very simple, and you know what I'm talking about. It's just some squiggles. Yep, that's it. It's just squiggles. So let's fix that. Boom. Let's just shade all that. There we go. Very easy to fix that. Okay, tree, squiggles. We come up here because we do have a tree on that side. Let's zoom in and see it. Boom, right there. So the tree on this side, squiggles, easy. We go and we make squiggles really quick. Wherever we want that tree to be, boom, squiggles. Squiggly squiggles. That's it. Squiggly, squiggly, squiggles. And then, once we got the squiggles down, how to make it really look like a tree? Super easy. We go and draw a line for the stem. Little itty bitty squiggles over here. You want to put squiggles closer together to make darker leaves. Space them further apart to make lighter leaves where the sun's hitting it. Squiggles. We got trees. That's basically all a tree is just some squiggles. Boom. We have a tree. Okay. Now for the water and the brick going under the bridge. Very simple. All you have to do is shoo. And then we come up here and we do the same thing. We go shoo. That's it. That's all you have to do with that. What about the grass? Grass? Super simple. All we have to do is take this and go. You have grass. Now you don't want to do this everywhere. You're going to be a little sporadic with it. Because if you do it everywhere, it just looks overgrown and kind of ugly. But if you just put it near the edge of the water where it starts at a center point, like right here, and it just branches out like that, and you make little curvies like, whoo, little swishy curvies, it makes it look like grass. The last thing that we are going to do, we are going to add in the lines for the covered bridge. We kind of forgot a box up here for that nameplate, but yes, add the nameplate in. The lines with the covered bridge, it's really easy. They are just straight lines. That's it. And you don't even have to use a ruler. You can just freehand these because if they look crooked, it's going to look more realistic. Whenever you go and you shade this in, the darker areas, try to bleed them down into some pieces of wood because you have some wood that is darker than some and some that are lighter than some. Okay guys, now I'm going to go ahead and tell you this would not be a Mr. Gray assignment if I didn't give you all some freedom. Room to grow and room to explore, room to do your own thing. So, at this point, I have shown you exactly how to draw this covered bridge. And what we used was a ruler and a pencil and some of your time. That is it. That's all that it took. So, this is what your task is. Even though I am ready to close up, you are not. I want you to go in and shade everything that you drew. And I know that sounds daunting, but you will have plenty of time to work on this. You're going to have 3 days to work on this assignment. I want you to shade this in to make it match that picture that we're looking off of. You have all the answers right there. And you are using a pencil. That's it. That's all that you need. This is going to be a fun assignment. The stones down here are always fun to do. Trust me. You're going to start doing this and it's going to be therapeutic. You're going to love it. So, that's your task. You are going to be shading in the rest of the artwork that we have completed. So you probably spent 1 day, maybe 2 days drawing it. You're going to spend the 3rd day shading it in. Thank you all very much. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you would like to follow along with us, but you are not one of my students, you can join the class by simply subscribing to the channel. I'm uploading all the lessons that I teach to my students in school on the YouTube channel, so you can follow along with us too at your own pace. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I can't wait to see your all's finished artwork in the classroom. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.